Hello, Henry, and welcome to the stream. Hello, everyone else. You're ready? Yeah, so am I. Hello, Henry, and welcome to the stream. Hello, everyone else. Okay, I don't know why I. You're ready? Yeah, so. Okay, good. So there we go. I just had to mute the other channel. And yeah, I'm ready as well. Everything has been done. Flight planning, fuel has been put on board. So it's a hop today from San Juan, Puerto Rico, to Miami. And, we are live on VATSIM. We will be flying the Zibo 737. So that's the 737-700 variant. That's the one usually used in the Caribbean. There's an 800 and a 900 variant we also have. So without any further ado, let's get this flight on the road. Or in the air, as I should say. If it's on the road, then we're in lots of trouble. Let's get into the flight deck. And passengers are loading up. How you been keeping, Henry? Storm tells me you're doing a lot of what you call it? You're doing a lot of you're overseeing quite a bit of. Is it CS:GO or which one of the games that you oversee? That you commentate on? Rainbow Six. There we go. Yeah, massive community on Rainbow Six. I mean, oh, great, wonderful, wonderful, and oh, that's wonderful. So you're pretty busy yourself.
Guys, the lead is on board.
All right, so we have the all the documents on board, and just excuse the so passengers on board, our fuel is on board. We can turn on the fasten seatbelt sign, give them the welcome message.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, for the flight deck, welcome aboard. They're going to be underway shortly for the first leg. These three wonderful flight attendants, give them their attention as we push and taxi. They're going to give you plenty of attention en route. Enjoy the flight. We'll talk to you once airport.
All right. So, and then we can go ahead and lock up the flight deck door. And we can now tell the ground services that we are ready to leave. We'll just tell them to drive away. Oh, that's good. Well, you've been busy. That's good. And we'll start closing up the doors. Set the cabin lighting. And everybody's starting to drive away. And so our flight has been programmed into the FMS, Flight Management System. We've taken the liberty of doing all of that already, not boring the hell out of everyone else. There's so many YouTube videos on how to program flights and whatnot. But once we get airborne, I'll go through the flight planning process on the other monitor. So it makes the flight a little more exciting. Not all this planning and going through every single piece of the planning. I think it's boring. I have looked at all of those other videos. I'm not saying it's boring. If you want to learn how to do it, by all means, go to the University of YouTube and get it done. So now the doors and the passengers are on board. We can turn the electronic hydraulic pumps on. And we can go ahead and turn the fuel pumps on because we're about to start. Of course, we've done all the cabin and pre-flight checks. This aircraft was being used this morning, so we don't have to go through every single thing, but just for the benefit of others, all these, so we take these panels from left to right, up to down. All the hydraulic panels, switches and guards are locked and closed. That's checked. Alternate flaps is off. Navigation computers are on and running. Source and control panels are set. This is our fuel panel. Fuel pumps are now on. We go over to APU. So we've now disengaged the ground power unit. So we're on APU. APU power looks good. Cabin utilities and passenger section are on. Standby power not required, but guarded. Closed and guarded. And we have ground power available still, but we are on APU power. Lights are off. Then we come onto this panel. Equipment cooling is normal. Emergency lights are armed and guarded. Seatbelt signs are on. Window heat, pitot heat, probe heat, we'll put those on when we start. That's in the after start checklist and flows. Hydraulic pumps from the engines will come on. Pressurization has been set, and before we start we'll turn the left pack off. We need all the air that we can get to start the engines, because air is bypassed from the APU for the air conditioning. This duct press here, and it's when we close this pack off, then the air from the APU then goes to the engines. So the overhead panel is checked. Navigation lights on, wing lights on, well lights are on. So we can now go ahead and turn on our anti-collision. Let everyone know outside that we are ready to go. So let's call up the pushback cart, disconnect the GPU, and we will request our pushback.
Ground to cockpit. Tau is driving up.
And he speaks in his lovely little Latin accent. Here comes the tow truck, and he's gone into the building. And these are the little quirks of Xplane. That's all right. He's gone into the building. Probably pick up a coffee and a burger while he's pushing us out. Trim set. Throttles at idle. Speed brakes up. Flaps up. And the only thing left to do is release the parking brake when he hooks us up. Get a view, different views.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Here's our cabin. Back to the flight deck. You're loving it, Henry? Let's look at the outside here now. So we're in Puerto Rico, San Juan International, Luis Munoz Airport. And there he is. He's hooking us up. The gear is actually being raised off the ground.
And bypass being inserted. Release parking brake.
We will now head back in, and we'll release the parking brake. There we go.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
All right. So here we go. So, before start checklist, packs off, engine bleeds on, APU bleed is on, doors and windows are locked and closed, anti-collision light on, throttles, power levers to idle, fuel switches to cut off, engine starters to auto, and that's pre-flight checklist. Fuel pumps are on. Good. So we usually start with engine number 2. And the co-pilot, if he was on that side, he would say in the back there is clear. So we will turn engine 2 to ground. So now air is being pushed. Starter valve has just opened. So what we're looking for now is N2 rise to 25%. And what we'll be looking for is a rise in oil pressure. An indication oil pressure is coming up. There we have oil pressure. Oil temperature is ambient. 24, 25. And we introduce the fuel. Look at the EGT. That's engine gas temperature. And make sure we don't get a hot start. It doesn't run up to that red line. Wait for it to normalize, stabilize, stable, and it should come back down. We have a good start on engine number 2, and we will put that now into continuous ignition. Good start on engine 2. Let's roll on engine 1. Starter valves open. Air is going in. Fuel flow. Are we looking for oil pressure to rise? There we have it. Oil pressure is rising. And we wait for this to reach to 25%.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Let's set the parking brake. Looking for
Connecting
EGT.
tow. Stand by.
Don't want to get a hot start. If we get a hot start, the engine flames out and it will explode. So, there it is. It's stabilizing. Stable. Good. So we just do a quick check. Fuel flow. Oil pressure, oil temperature is coming up, quantity is good, vibration is good. Alright, we have a good start on engine number 1. Put that into continuous. And he will just make sure that he takes the pin away with him. So we switch over now the electrical panel. We start again from left, go down to right. And we switch over from APU electrical to engine electrical. So the engine generators are now producing power for us. Our heats. We turn this over, make sure the engines are producing electrical power. Yep. Hydraulics
After we disconnected and bypass pin has been removed, hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Alright, hand signal on the left. We'll put the packs back on, get the air condition flowing, turn off the air from the APU. All that checks out, duct pressure is coming up. And that'll provide air for the pressurization system. And we can now make sure. Turn the APU off. Alright, let's look. Let's make sure he has a pin in his hand. And the pin is in his hand. Good. Alright. So, we don't have any controllers on today at Sun 1. And I'm not sure if there are any other planes in the area, but we'll normally make an announcement on the Unicom frequency of 122.8. And we will now squawk mode Charlie for the transponder. TARA. Right. And bring our flaps down to 5. That is what we programmed it for today. And we have position 5. Flaps are coming down. Okay, so flaps are down. Surface control checks. Our checks there. This side is good. Controls are free. So here we go. So taxi lights on. Just do one final check before we taxi. Everything checks out. And we have one more switch to put on. It's the yaw damper. And we got rid of that alert. Check it out again. Good. Sun 1 traffic, Pacific 29056 is pushed back from gate C27. Taxi to runway 8 via November Sierra, Sun 1 traffic. And we're ready to go. So we release the parking brake. Give it some power. Hello Gizzy, welcome aboard. Glad you can join us. We're flying from Sun 1 to Miami today in the Zibo 737 on Xplane. Try and keep it on the line. Don't worry about that. That's one of my Cytec throttle controllers. Switch is a bit finicky. So Grizzy, are you into simming as well? Alright, so we checked the weather already. Winds are 074 at 11, and local altimeter here is 2989. So what we're going to basically do, we're going to take off fly runway heading. Anything above 500 feet, we're going to do a left turn out. Usually it's vectors to the first point on our SID, which is our standard instrument departure. So we can just take a look at that here. Akoni, Palde, and then Sapo is our final transition. So here we have vector. So what we'll do, we will just hand fly the airplane up, get it up in the air, start our left turn, and then we will then tell the autopilot to go to Akoni direct, and then we'll engage the autopilot. These jets pretty much fly themselves. Pilot side. So everything checks, and weather radar can come on now. Co-pilot side, terrain radar can come on. Going to RTO, so just in case we have a rejected takeoff. So now that we're talking about rejected takeoff, we have so V1 is 134, V rotate is 135, and V2 is 145. So anything up to, if we get a problem up to 134 knots, we will stop the airplane. Once we get beyond V1, we must commit to the air. If we do get a problem, which we won't, then we must commit to the air, and then we'll see about the problem in the air. So those are the usual briefings pilots give each other before they take off. I have another laptop here. I'm just checking the VATSIM network to see if anyone is coming in. There's no one in. Just out of good practice, because not all the time you have the systems to tell you where planes are. I'll make the announcement. Sun 1 traffic, Pacific 29056, we're to take off on runway 8, fly runway heading left turn to the north, Coney 3 departure, and we will be climbing up to flight level 380, Sun 1 traffic. So we're going on the runway, landing lights on, turn lights off, and we will, if I can get my track IR around it. Strobes on. Track IR sometimes is a bit tricky. So at this point in time, we'll arm the auto throttle. We are doing a reduce thrust takeoff today. Save on the engines. Tap on the brakes. All right, gentlemen, and we're ready to go. So we carry the engines up to 50%. 60, doesn't matter. Stable, toga. And we engage the auto throttle. There we go. Yeah, those lovely 737 engines roar.
V1, rotate.
Rotate. Just ease up into the air.
Positive rate.
Positive rate. Gear up. Gear coming up. Got a slight wind to the side.
400.
And
1,000.
getting 1,000 feet. We'll begin our left turn. Climbing out. Flaps start coming up. One more stage of flap to come up. And flaps are up. Bring our heading bug around. Oops, too much. Going to head and select. We will now select VNAV, and we will now engage the autopilot. Plane is computer zone, so she's going to dive down a little bit just to pick up some speed. We'll bring the extended landing lights from the belly in. Oil pressures, everything in the green. Everything's normal. And we'll say goodbye to Sun 1. Send out the range. We're on course to Coney. Now we will just tell the autopilot, yeah, and she's already selected it, so now we can go into LNAV. Just to give you all a brief description of LNAV and VNAV. VNAV is vertical navigation, so that's up and down, and LNAV is lateral navigation, which is left and right. So let's do some cleanup. Turn that. Flaps are up. Spoilers are locked in place. Landing lights. Wheel lights are off. Pressurization is set. And yep. Climb power is set. 92.3% N1. We're on our way up. So we have a couple flows that we do. When we get to 10,000 feet, lights out. And put the engines back in from continuous ignition back to auto. Because at 10,000 feet is assumed that if you were to lose an engine, you can windmill the engine and restart it. Or if you have another good engine. Alright, now we're at 10,000 feet. Lights out. Light out.
American 2219, 77 squad 2672. 2672, American 2219.
Sun 1 Center, good afternoon. Pacific 29956 with you, flight level 380.
Pacific 2956, San Juan Center, squawk 2403.
Squawk 2403, Pacific 29956.
American San Juan, please, link American 1341, descending flight level 310. Lugo, flight direct to Avaki, expect down approach on 10. Up to Slugo, direct Avaki, RNAV 10 for the American 2219. American 2219, descend to flight level 110. Down at 110, American 2219.
And good morning, San Juan, FedEx 42 with you. We're at 7,000.
FedEx 42, San Juan Center, squawk 64, question 6042.
Okay, 6042, FedEx 42.
Pacific 2956, for the contact 72 miles southeast of Sapo, for about 380.
Radar checks for Pacific 2956. Thank you. Good afternoon.
San Juan Center, San Juan, good evening, American 1341, descending flight level 290. Second call, sir. American 1341. American 1341, San Juan, squawk 2372. 2372, American 1341. San Juan Center, American 144 with you, flight level 320. FedEx 42 over to contact 17 miles south of San Juan at 6,400. Maintain 6,000 for now. And
Okay, maintain 6,000, FedEx 42.
So there we are. We're getting some ATC action.
FedEx 42, maintain 6,000. Expect visual approach by 10, altimeter 2987.
Okay, 6,000, and we'll expect 10, FedEx 42.
Yes, Henry, they are real players talking,
American 144, heavy 717,
sitting at their sims, connected through the VATSIM system.
American 1341, ready to contact 57 miles northwest of Bino, at about 266, cross Bino, out of maintain 11,250 knots, altimeter 2987. Position checks and cross Bino at or maintain 11,000, American 1341.
Oh yeah, definitely, and that's what the VATSIM system is. It's about.
American 144,
Yeah,
ready
they
to
are.
contact 18 miles north of
They pretty much
San
are,
Juan,
and we use pilot clients to connect to the VATSIM system, and we actually see actual other planes in their liveries on the ground or passing us in the air. So you actually see them in the sim as well. So you don't only hear them, but you can see them.
Turn, you know what? We're just speak to 180 now.
Okay, we're indicating 200, slow to 180, FedEx 42.
FedEx 42, after that you can turn right heading 360 and then maintain 4,000.
Okay, reduce speed 180, then right turn 360 down to 4,000, FedEx 42.
American 2219, descend to 3,000 feet, QNH 1011. 3,000, 1011, American 2219.
Yeah, sure. Anytime you're ready. As I say, well, I think we went through with you setting up your VATSIM account, so that's a lot of the work done already. It's just knowing, you know, what to do and what to say. So now that I've said that, let's go over to the next monitor, and let me show you the flight planning and all the different charts that you need to know before you get on VATSIM, because these controllers, some of them are real life controllers, some of them are regular players like you and myself that have been trained. I'm also thinking of becoming a controller on VATSIM.
American 144, clear the recording.
No, once you have your account, that's it. It remains with you for life. So all you have to remember is your VATSIM ID and your password. I hope you wrote it down somewhere.
American 144, clear the recording.
Roger, direct targeting for 144.
All right, so let's get over to the other monitor, and I'll show you what it is. Now I hope this works. Bear with me. Coming up on 3,000. Localizers alive. Miami traffic, Pacific 29056 established on the localizer, runway 27, Miami traffic. So we reset our heading for go around. Go around altitude is set. Flaps 5. We'll slow it down a little bit more. Dorsal lights can come on. Glide slope is active. And there's downtown Miami ahead of us, guys. Time for the gear to come down. Flaps 10. Lights on. Let's slow it down to our approach speed. Miami traffic, Pacific 29056 fully established on the ILS runway 27, 11 miles final. Miami traffic.
For seats and trays, up and locked and restow carry-on items. We also ask you to discontinue the use of and stow all portable electronic devices in preparation for landing.
Runway in sight. There's Miami ahead of us, guys. Yes, it is windy. Let's notch up flaps. Full flaps. All right, before landing checklist. Landing gear down, 3 green. Flaps full. Landing profile good. On the ILS, we have a visual of the runway. Minimum set. There's Miami. I think the windshield wipers.
feet stabilized, Mr. Perch, altitude set.
I think the windshield wipers are about to rip off. All right, so auto throttle off, and let's take off the autopilot and put on the stupid pilot. Stupid pilot. I have the airplane.
Approaching 27.
We're on point with the puppies. That sound you're hearing in the background is the electric trim.
500.
Oh, getting bumped around a little bit.
400. 300. Approaching minimums. 200. Minimums.
Minimums. Continuing.
Flight slow.
Yep.
100.
Think rate. Flight slow.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 10.
Into reverse.
knots.
80 knots, check. Manual braking. Miami traffic, Pacific 29056 is clear of runway 27. Taxi to the gate via Tango, cross runway 30, will hold short runway 30 for arriving traffic, Miami traffic. Alright, so we'll do some cleanup. We'll bring the flaps back up to 5. Landing lights off. Strobes off. Engine ignitions back to auto, normal. Pitot heats off. Radar off. 30. Oh, we'll hold short here. Traffic inbound 4, runway 30. Can you indicate your DME to runway Pacific 29056? Okay, Miami traffic, Pacific 29056, crossing runway 30, Miami traffic. Yeah, nothing on the inbound, I'm not seeing it.
Approaching 30.
Crossover quickly. Miami traffic, Pacific 29056 is clear, runway 30, Miami traffic. So here we can bring the flaps up completely. And we'll switch over to APU power. Right, so red cube, as you can see there's another player. There's his plane. So this is what I was telling you about, that you need to download those files so they can show up in deliveries. Delta 616. Alright, so we'll turn the landing light, taxi light off. We don't blind the marshaller. Alright, set the brakes. And we will left back off. It's on. So we'll do our shutdown checklist flows. And we can shut these engines down now. Engines off, anti-collision off. Transponder back to standby.
And Miami traffic, Aero Mexico 422 downwind, runway